Hey guys, so today we're going to read Act 3.3, the first half of it. There are two parts to the scene, but we're just going to read the first part today, and we'll read the second part tomorrow. Before we read 3.3 though, I want you to go in and view 3.2. The discussion from yesterday was Shakespeare left out part of what we know happens. He didn't script Claudio seeing Hero cheating on him. So I want you to go watch how a particular director decided to do that scene in a stage production of the play. When you watch the movie, I put in the title of the clip where to watch to and from. You can watch the whole play, of course, if you want to, but this particular scene is from 1 hour and 17 minutes and 10 seconds in for about 8.5 minutes until 1:25:30. You'll know the scene is over when Dogberry and Verges start to talk. You'll notice that the scene is a little bit racy, so there's nothing that's overly inappropriate, but it is. I think you'll be able to imagine at this point why Shakespeare couldn't have put something like this on his stage during his time period. Okay, so let's read 3.3. This really dramatic thing has happened at the end of 3.2. Don John has told Claudio that his fiancée is cheating on him, and Claudio has said, if that's true, if you give me proof, right, the ocular proof that Othello wanted, then I will shame her in front of the entire congregation, which is terrible. So that's kind of a dramatic way to end that scene. But you'll see what Shakespeare does immediately in scene 3.3. And I think he does that on purpose, and that's what your discussion question is going to be about today. All right, so let's get to the text. Okay, so now we're going to meet some new characters, Dogberry and Verges. Dogberry is like the chief of police of sorts in Messina. So he and his partner, his second in command, Verges, are here to set up the watch for the evening. So the watch would basically be like, making sure people are home at curfew, people aren't causing trouble at night. So the watchmen are just men who would spend the night out in the streets making sure that everything is okay. And so Dogberry is going to ask them some questions to make sure that they're ready to go.
Scene 3. A street. Enter Dogberry and Verges with the watch.
Are you good men and true?
Yea, or else it were pity they should suffer salvation, body and soul.
Nay, that were a punishment too good for them if they should have any allegiance in them, being chosen for the prince's watch.
Well, give them their charge, neighbour Dogberry.
First, who think you the most desartless man to be constable?
Okay, so what you're going to notice about Dogberry is he uses the wrong word all the time. So when he says desertless, which would mean, I guess, the person who deserves it least, what he means is deserving. And so he's often going to say either something that's completely ridiculous or actually the opposite of what he means. And so this creates confusion in the other characters, and it creates a comic effect for the audience.
You authenticate, sir, or Judge Seco, for they can write and read.
Come hither, neighbour Seacole. God hath blessed you with a good name. To be a well-favoured man is the gift of fortune, but to write and read comes by nature.
Okay, so he says to be able to read and write just comes naturally, which of course isn't true. Those are things that you have to learn, but Dogberry is an idiot. He likes to try to speak in these really grand truths about the world, and I think Shakespeare is making fun of people who like to do that.
Both which, Master Constable?
You have. I knew it would be your answer. Well, for your favour, sir, why, give God thanks and make no boast of it. And as for your writing and reading, let that that appear when there is no need for such vanity. You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man for the constable of
Obviously, he meant sensible, not senseless.
the watch. Therefore, bear you the lanthorn. This is your charge. You shall comprehend all vagrom men. You are to bid any man stand in the prince's name.
So, you shall comprehend all vagrom men. Of course, he means apprehend all vagrant men. So basically, anybody who's like laying around or drunk or whatever, you should arrest them in the prince's name. And one of the watchmen has a question.
However will not stand.
Why then, take no note of him, but let him go. And presently call the rest of the watch together, and thank God you are rid of a knave.
So the watchman asks, what should we do if he won't be arrested? And Dogberry says, well, then just thank your lucky stars that you got rid of such a terrible person. Okay, well, that's not a very good policy for the police to follow, I don't think.
If he will not stand where he is bidden, he is none of the prince's subjects.
True, and they are to meddle with none but the prince's subjects. You shall also make no noise in the streets. For the watch to babble and to talk is most tolerable, and not to be endured.
Of course, he meant intolerable, not tolerable.
We will rather sleep than talk. We know what belongs to a watch.
Why,
So the watchman says, well, yeah, we're not going to talk, don't worry, we would rather go to sleep. Well, also not a good policy for the police to follow, to be sleeping when they're supposed to be watching.
you speak like an ancient and most quiet watchman.
Of course, Dogberry thinks it's a good idea.
For I cannot see how sleeping should offend. Only have a care that your bills be not stolen. Well, you are to call at all the alehouses and bid those that are drunk get them to bed.
How if they will not?
Why then, let them alone till they are sober.
Well, again,
If they make you not then the better answer, you may say they are not the men you took them for.
so stop all the drunk men. Well, what if we can't? What if they won't be stopped? Well, then just wait till they're sober, and then they'll give you a better answer. Okay.
Well, sir.
If you meet a thief, you may suspect him, by virtue of your office, to be no true man. And for such kind of men, the less you meddle or make with them, why, the more is for your honesty.
If we know him to be a thief, shall we not lay hands on him?
Truly, by your office you may. But I think they that touch pitch will be defiled. The most peaceable way for you, if you do take a thief, is to let him show himself what he is and steal out of your company.
Okay, so if you see a thief, don't touch him because he says, I think they that touch pitch will be defiled. So pitch being like ash. If you touch it, it'll make your hands dirty. So don't touch a thief. The best way to deal with a thief is to let him steal out of your company. Like basically leave. Again, not a great policing policy.
You have always been called a merciful man, partner.
Truly, I would not hang a dog by my will, much more a man who hath any honesty in him.
If you hear a child cry in the night, you must call to the nurse and bid her still it.
How if the nurse be asleep and will not hear us?
Why then, depart in peace, and let the child wake her with crying. For the ewe that will not hear her lamb when it bars, will never answer a calf when it bleats.
I don't know what he's talking about, but he's basically saying every one of his policies is don't do anything.
'Tis very true.
This is the end of the charge. You, constable, are to present the prince's own person. If you meet the prince in the night, you must stay him.
Nay, by our lady, that I think I cannot.
5 shillings to 1 on't. With any man that knows the statutes, he may stay him. Marry, not without the prince be willing. For indeed
You can
offend
stop the
no
prince,
man,
unless he doesn't
and
want to
it
be
is an
stopped.
offence to stay a man against his will.
By a lady, I think it be so.
Ha ha ha! Well, masters, good night. An there be any matter of weight chances, call upon me. Keep your fellows' counsel and your own, and good night. Come, neighbour.
Well, masters, we hear our charge. Let us go sit here upon the church bench till 2, and then all to bed.
One word more, honest neighbours. I pray you watch about Signor Leonato's door. For the wedding being there tomorrow, there is a great coil tonight. Adieu. Be vigilant, I beseech you.
Exeunt Dogberry and Verges.
So he says in the text that actor actually just said vigilant, which is not what you're supposed to say, because it's vigilant. That's not a typo. That's Shakespeare put in that word because Dogberry doesn't know the word vigilant. Okay, so that's the end of the part of the scene that we're going to read today. So go into the discussion board and you'll see the question there, but I want to know why you think Shakespeare puts in these two buffoons right at this moment in the play. Okay, and the rest of the scene tomorrow is going to be a little more dramatic than the scene today. Today was, well, I want to know why you think it was there. All right, see you tomorrow.